Texas and Oklahoma's entry into the SEC could not be better timing for the Longhorns, worse for the Sooners, and Brent Venables is saying, why can't I catch a break? Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you stopping by for the best in discussion, debate, and analysis. Please like the video and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. We pointed out prior to Oklahoma and Texas stepping onto the field for the first time in the SEC in the fall of 2024, that Texas had a huge advantage in scheduling. The SEC scheduling malpractice dates back to at least the 1990s when they split into divisions and came up with these ludicrous, ridiculous, false rivalries. They had true rivalries that needed to be played cross-division between East and West. Alabama, Tennessee, of course. Auburn, Georgia, of course, the South's oldest rivalry. And even Florida, LSU to a certain extent. But the other ones were made up and did not need to be played and factored into the unfairness, the imbalance of the scheduling across the SEC. In one particular year, we pointed out right here at the Voice of College Football that Alabama and LSU, of course, playing in the same division in the West, played the exact same schedule. Of course, they played each other. But outside the division in the East, Alabama played two teams that combined to go 1-15 the previous season. And Tennessee played two teams in Georgia and Florida that combined to go 14-2. How can you have teams competing for the same championship with imbalanced schedules? Last season, prior to Oklahoma, Texas stepping on the field in the SEC for the first time, we pointed out that the teams that Texas would play in 2024 in the SEC won 35% of their games. They went 20-36 in the SEC the previous season. Oklahoma would have to face teams that had the exact juxtaposed record at 36-20. It won almost 65% of its games. And certainly Texas was better than Oklahoma. We're not arguing that. But the imbalance in scheduling has to be addressed and should be addressed. It can be addressed. We've done it a number of ways here at the Voice of College Football. So what we forecasted to be a scheduling imbalance, did that actually prove out in 2024? And does that project again for an imbalance in 2025 between Texas and Oklahoma? Yes, in fact, Oklahoma played teams in the SEC in 2024 that went 40-24 in the conference. They won 62.5% of their games, even if you take away the games played against Oklahoma, which, of course, the Sooners only went 2-6 in the conference. Those teams went 34-22 against everyone else. They won over 60% of their games against everyone else. Look at Texas. Exactly opposite. It could not have played out any better in regards to our projection of the schedule. 36-20 versus 20-36 going into 2024. That was the projection based on 2023. Then get this, 40-24 were the teams Texas played, or Oklahoma played. 24-40, the exact opposite again, in terms of wins and losses in the SEC. The Texas opponents in the Southeastern Conference won 37.5% of their games at 24-40. Even if you take away the Texas wins going 7-1, they went 23-33. Texas only had to play teams that won 41% of their games. How does this project to 2025? Well, it projects exactly the way we just saw in 2024. Texas is going to be playing teams that won 37.5% of their games in the SEC. Oklahoma 62.5%. And there's another way to slice this. Let's look at the opponents that each team has to play from most difficult to easiest within the SEC. For Texas, they got to play Georgia. Of course, they lost 2 games to Georgia in 2024, including the championship game. Georgia at 6-2 last year. Texas A&M at 5-3. Those are just 2 teams that Texas has to play that finished over 500 in the conference. The other ones at or below 500 with Florida, Arkansas, Vandy, Oklahoma. Of course, that's the common opponent. Kentucky at 1-7, Mississippi State at 0-8. For Oklahoma, look at this gauntlet. 7 of the 8 teams that they play finished over 500 in the SEC, including that glut of teams at 5-3. Some really good football teams that were on the cusp of a college football playoff. Oklahoma had to play 2 playoff teams as it was. In Texas, 7-1. Tennessee coming up on the 2025 schedule at 6-2. And then look at all these good football teams. Ole Miss, South Carolina, Bama, Mizzou, LSU. The only down team, and they could be much better, of course, here in 2025, the Auburn Tigers. It's 2-6 this past season under Hugh Freeze. The imbalance. It doesn't need to be. You cannot project exactly how good teams are going to be, but you can build a scheduling system, as we have here at the Voice of College Football, that would ensure closer, more balanced, more equitable schedules. Get it right, SEC. Your scheduling system sucks. Please like the video and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football.